Toga grunted, gripping her arm that was in worse condition than she thought, her mind racing as she felt a warm liquid seep down from the fresh wound, her own blood. The typically happy-go-lucky blonde did her best to jump from fallen debris to more stable ground, to run away with the rest of the league, to escape from any heroes who planned to arrest her, or from any law enforcement who had arrived at the scene. Unfortunately for her, a piece of fallen debris from a now collapsed building fell too near the villain, throwing off her balance and making her fall to the ground with a loud
"Ow! No! I should have known the heroes would be better than last time."
Toga huffed out complaint after complaint as she tried getting up with a now injured leg, hissing when she felt the stinging pain as she moved around.
"Excuse me?"
A voice called out, worry evident in their tone.
I know that I'm not really supposed to help, but you're hurt, aren't you?"
Toga warily looked at where the voice came from, but since she was losing more blood than she was used to, anything she could have seen, such as simple facial features or their basic outline, was just fuzzy and blurred in the blonde's vision. Toga decided to just bite the bullet, since her only other option was to try and limp her way back to the hideout because Kurogiri had already teleported the others out, and risk getting caught by the heroes Toga despised so much. She wouldn't want that.
"Yeah, I guess I need help,"
Toga said, expecting the person who spoke to her to attack, since she was in a weaker state than she normally was. Or for the person to use her weakness to let her get captured. Not for the person to chuckle lightheartedly and make Toga take a double take.
"Don't laugh at me! That's not nice!"
Toga whined, her bottom lip sticking out in a pout. By now she had forgotten about her injuries since her mind was more focused on someone who is not a hero, but not a villain either, yet was willing to help her, and even had the audacity to chuckle at her current state.
All right.
The person said, their chuckles subsiding to Toga's dismay.
"Oh, since we're probably going to be with each other until you heal up, I might as well give you my name. Just call me Traveler."
Toga smiled, feeling as though she could trust you, who she now knew of as Traveler. You did seem to mean no harm to her, since by now most would have either run away in fear, or do their best she won't go back to quote-unquote hurting others, be it by getting her taken in by law enforcement or killed. Toga brushed those thoughts away as soon as she saw you quietly walk forward and start clearing a safe path, leaving nothing to trip on and to make sure you both left as quickly as possible. You were helping out a well-known villain, after all. You managed to kick away the last remaining pieces of building rubble, mumbling curses about a perfectly made building being destroyed in a single attack, even if it was the League of Villains you were talking about here.
"Just your leg and your arm, right?"
Toga nodded and watched you walk over and kneel down, your eyes looking over her for any injuries she didn't mention. Luckily for you, there were only minor cuts and scuffs on her, which was to be expected when your main choice in weaponry was many knives, and had to avoid falling debris. You looked around, hearing the not-so-quiet law enforcement and heroes that were now just around the corner, searching for anyone they could take in and charge for the damages and chaos the villains had caused. Of course, it was better to risk your own clean criminal record to heal the wounded than to run away and accomplish nothing at all. By that logic, you ripped away a few strips of your sleeved shirt to apply pressure on her wound, which had started bleeding as much as they had been earlier. That's good. You hovered a hand over the large gash on Toga's arm. The all-too-familiar glow of your favorite color and accompanying tingling sensation when using it came to the tips of your fingertips. And Toga watched in admiration as her wound that was stinging with pain just a few moments ago was now dissolving back into her skin with just a dull ache in its place that she could easily put in the back of her mind without consequence.
My quirk is simple healing of external wounds, if that's what you're wondering,
you said, answering her silent question as you scoped the area, your eyes straining to hear the faint sound of footsteps from heroes and their law-abiding backups.
If you want to escape, I suggest you leave now,
you advised, helping the dazed blonde villain back on her feet as the booming voices of heroes reverberated off the walls of the rather large alleyway behind the demolished ruins of the building, with only enough structure left to barely hide the silhouettes of the heroes who were called to the scene. Toga took the message and quickly made her way back to the League's hideout, her mind solely repeating the scene in her head like a movie, and the name Traveler caught on the tip of her tongue. You wiped away another bead of sweat with the back of your hand as you mentally cursed the summer heat of your hometown. Sure, you spent most of your time indoors when you weren't out shopping for the almost weekly grocery run for yourself or meeting up with your old friends to catch up. But you still complained about the heat the moment you realized your air conditioning wasn't working at random times. The heat made you wish you had an ice quirk like the famous pro hero Shoto, or at least one that didn't make you feel like you were in the microwavable meal you made too often for your liking. You walked out the premises and safety of your home, wearing decent clothing, locking the door behind you as you made your way to the mall instead of the usual, and much less crowded supermarket you typically frequented for these shopping sprees. But you just felt like you had to go to the mall. You didn't know why, but your body just naturally made its way past the mall's automatic doors and to the nearest clothing store, or where they sold fruits, or your favorite microwavable dinners. Your hand brushed by another rack of clothing, and once again nothing truly caught your eye, nor was in your budget, mostly the latter of the two. You sighed walking out of the clothing store since you hadn't bought anything from the store, but a voice called out, catching your attention immediately.
Traveler! Traveler! Over here!
You turned around, mind racing to remember whose face matched with the cheery female voice. Was it your childhood best friend? No, this voice was too cheery for your serious friend, who had lost her sense of fun once she had gotten to a promotion in her family's wealthy business. So you crossed out that possibility. Before you could think of any other possible bachelorettes for who the voice belonged to, two arms wrapped around your confused self.
Hi, Traveler! It's been a while, hasn't it? Oh, how I missed you!
Toga cooed happily, her blonde hair let down just this once, her amber eyes closed for a genuine smile, and her beige cardigan and school uniform replaced with an ash grey coloured sweater with matching grey denim shorts, all under a pastel pink overall. Your mind was still slow as your arms wrapped around Toga.
I'm sorry, but I don't remember who you are.
You apologized, laughing sheepishly. The voice did sound familiar to you, but no names matched with faces in your slow mind.
Oh, that's right. I never really introduced myself when you saved me the other day,
Toga said, pulling away, twirling her hair with her finger.
My name is Himiko Toga. You can call me anything you want, though, since I don't really mind if it's you. Saved you? When did I do that?
You looked at the amber-eyed blonde with confusion written on your face.
If you mistook me for a pro hero, I'm sorry, but you're mistaken since I'm most definitely not a pro hero. Not with my quirk.
You explained.
It was a while ago, and a bit of a spur-of-the-moment thing for you at the time.
Toga said thoughtfully, her finger resting on her chin.
Basically, you healed me right up and helped me away from those heroes when the League, had their business done around the building. You only told me your name and basics about your quirk before I had to run away.
Your eyes widened in realization.
So that's where I know your voice.
Toga smiled brightly, engulfing you in another spine-crushing hug.
Traveler remembers me! Traveler remembers me!
Toga talked in a sing-song voice, her cheeks dusted with pink as she did so. You hugged back, smiling down at her.
Sorry, Toga, but I came here to go shopping for some food,
you said. This made Toga frown because she wanted to spend more time with the nice person who, more than likely, saved her from a cell, all while risking their own life and credibility just to help. Help out a villain, no less, and one that could kill them with little to no hesitation at any moment.
Can I help you? You helped me, so it would be great if I could return the favor, even if it's just with the little things.
Toga whined, clinging onto your arm, her bottom lip stuck out in a pout.
Alright then, Himmy,
you said teasingly, making a nickname up on the fly, and despite knowing you were being a bit unfair by teasing Toga, you were a bit surprised when she started protesting with a very flustered expression.
That was uncalled for, Traveler. I'm supposed to be the teasing one, not anyone else.
You tried to hold back your laughter by holding your hand in front of your mouth in hopes of the giggles being repressed. But no. Even with your hand covering your mouth, the laughter spilled out, filling Toga's mind with the angelic sound, which only caused her blush to worsen.
I'm supposed to make you blush, not the other way around.
That statement only made you laugh harder. After the mall incident a few weeks ago, you and Toga had run into each other more often, typically her acting and looking like a civilian, almost as if she intentionally planned to meet you in the many ways she did. The last incident, for example, you were going out for a quick coffee break from college during lunch, planning on getting a few sweets with it as well to get enough caffeine to keep you going through the long lectures and droning professors who had other things they'd rather be doing than dealing with bored students, thinking about anything other than the tasks they were given. You sat down on a table for two, since everywhere else was occupied, not really expecting someone to sit down, let alone start conversing. What's a cute-looking thing doing out here? You internally sighed, knowing exactly where this would go after a few too many reruns of Forensic Files and Law & Order Special Victims Unit, and decided to be snarky, or appear like less of a target.
Sorry, but you're talking to the wrong person here, my dude. Go creep on someone else. I'm just trying to enjoy my coffee without ending up on a missing poster.
You looked up from your social media scrolling, taking a look at the creep in front of you. The man was pretty generic looking, pretty much a textbook creep in those cliché movies, but you quickly wrote out a text to your friend on campus, the looks of this man, as well as the current situation. You wanted to laugh at how surprised he looked, and you assumed that he was used to teens to be all unsuspecting and naive. and not snarky remarks like the one you had given him. The man fixed his composure when he noticed your gaze on him.
I don't think you should take what isn't yours, because that isn't really nice.
A female voice said, and your mind immediately registered as your villainous friend Toga. It wasn't your best friend from campus, but still someone you internally called a gift from the heavens. How about you back off, pretty girl? Sit down and look pretty. The creep said, venom laced in his voice. His attempts to lure you away was foiled.
I have a better idea.
Toga cooed, an innocent smile on her face as her hand reached into the pocket of her oversized sweater and a glint of metal registered in your mind. The man seemed to have noticed this as well, since his next and best choice was to get up from his seat abruptly before walking out of the cafe. You let out a breath you didn't even know you were holding in, chuckling nervously.
Thanks, Himmy.
You said, giving her a closed-eyed smile.
I owe you one.
Toga smiled before helping you up off your chair and out the cafe, clinging to your arm the entire time.
Nope. This is just me paying you back for you saving me those weeks ago.
Toga said happily, giggling as usual.